What do you need to know in order to have your own pied-a-terre in Venezuela? Well, today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
So let's say you are interested on purchasing your own pied-a-terre here in Venezuela. In case you don't know the term, it's a French term regarding your own small property, usually for a wealthy individual that wants a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th location in other city from outside from their main property, and they want to purchase a property that is from their own use and fitting, and it feels a necessity or provides value in any particular regard for the homeowner. Well, a lot of things that you have to know in order to have your own pied-a-terre here in Venezuela. So let's start. First, the legal requirements in order to purchase real estate properties here in Venezuela. As an international, you have to go through a very dreadful process that I'm not going to discuss here on this video. But you have to be aware that you need to go through the process in order to register the property as your own. Second thing that you can do is also register the property at the name of a Venezuelan. Let's say if you're married to a Venezuelan citizen, a female, most cases, you can also do that as well, of course, not a big deal. And the third thing that you can do, if you want to play it a little bit risky, is you can just straight up the same day, let's say you fall in love for a particular property here on the country, you can just, sign a private document, but legally it's not going to be registered in your name. Now let's go with location. Real estate is location, location, location. You have to choose a property regarding, of course, the city where you want to spend some time and you want to feel like home, away from home. And most of the requirements regarding pied-a-terres is beachfront properties. And this is a funny thing, of course, there are some people that want something like a finca, like a estate on the field, outside of the city that has nuances of their own. On the mountains, we have beautiful mountains as well. Let's say a place like Merida or the state of Merida, that you have a beautiful pied-a-terres over there and actually on a reasonable prices. However, you have to take into account that not necessarily because they're beautiful properties, also they're pied-a-terres, they don't necessarily fit certain needs, especially for the beachfront properties. A beachfront property is not necessarily, and this is a rule of thumb that many Westerners use, is that closer to the beach is going to be more expensive and it's going to be more valuable. And in many cases, it's not going to be the case. Usually, here in Venezuela, the utility is depending on the economic activity of the city, of the region, of the area that you are purchasing real estate, not necessarily if there is close or far from the beach. There are very valuable, attractive properties that doesn't have the beach nearby, beach over there. And there are properties that actually, beachfront property, you can just walk, you can take 5 steps and you're already on the beach. The beach is like your private pool. But those properties are not necessarily valuable for the market. Now let's discuss locations here for pied-a-terres, at least for the domestic purchasers of real estate here, especially the pied-a-terre kind. Let's start by my hometown, Lecheria. They have, bunch of people from Caracas or the west side of the city, of the west side of the country, they have actually pied-a-terres in Lecheria. Usually are wealthy individuals that have properties that could be, let's say, $100,000, $50,000, and some middle-class individuals that own 25, 30K properties in Lecheria, on the nearby area, and use it as a starting point in order to go to the beach. It could be right there in Lecheria. Lecheria has beaches, but Lecheria, the beaches over there are not particularly special, nothing special. Mostly Lecheria is not as big regarding beaches. It's mostly thanks to the navigation systems that you have over there. So if you are an enthusiast of navigation, owning your own speedboat or yacht or something like that, we have a bunch of yachts over there as well. That's a different story. So they own nice properties over there that usually they are the pied-a-terres that they own on that particular city. Also, you have the contrary case, wealthy people, financially successful people in Venezuela that live outside of Caracas, the capital, and they want their pied-a-terre in Caracas. In these particular cases, what they do is if they are wealthy enough, they own properties on the east side of Caracas. Could be Las Mercedes, Chacao, Altamira, Los Palos Grandes, El Cafetal, La Trinidad, or a beautiful pied-a-terre. This is something under the radar for the outside world, and outside of Caracas, I would say, so the rest of the country doesn't speak that much, is owning a pied-a-terre in El Hatillo. El Hatillo is a part of Caracas that is kind of a city of its own, but doesn't have the hustle and bustle of most areas in Caracas. It looks more than looking like an area in a big city, looks like a small, beautiful town because you are surrounded by nature and you have a bunch of mountains. And usually I'm talking centuries ago, El Hatillo was actually a plantation that they have a bunch of estates and fincas and so on. And when the city grew up, they absorbed El Hatillo as part of Caracas. However, it has a small city, small town vibe rather than being a part of a big city. So also an interesting pied-a-terre over there. Other particular popular destinations for pied-a-terres here in Venezuela is Margarita Island. That's a must. Many middle-class people own a second property over there in Margarita Island. Also, we have Tucacas. I mentioned this on a previous video. Tucacas is close to the Morrocoy National Park. That is, rather than being a national park, it's just a bunch of islands and beaches and so on. So it's a very big touristic destination over there. Also for navigation, so if you own a yacht or something like that, it's going to be very fun owning a property over there in Tucacas. Also, we have Higuerote on Miranda State. Miranda State is close to, of course, it's part of Caracas. I mean, the geography of the particular place, I'm not going to explain on this particular video, but it's close to Caracas, let's say. So Higuerote, very close to Caracas, also has beaches and access to navigation and so on. So if you own a yacht, then you can have it on Higuerote and so on. Also, some people own pied-a-terres. Let's go right to the mountains in Mérida State, beautiful. If you like the chilly weather, you're going to love Mérida, by the way. Also in Táchira, in Valera, Trujillo, they own pied-a-terres. So talking about the most chilly place in Venezuela, that's not, you're not gonna freeze to death over there. It's nothing like that. So the climate is more cooler. So if you want to rest of the heat of most of the Venezuelan cities, you can go to do so on these particular places. Also, we have Los Teques. Some people in Caracas own a pied-a-terre in Los Teques. Also, there are places like La Colonia Tovar, also a very beautiful chilly place close to Caracas. And Galipan, beautiful. The landscape of Galipan is beautiful. It's very close to Caracas. You can own a pied-a-terre over there as well. And if you want to get more eccentric, we can also discuss owning a pied-a-terre in Santa Elena de Guairén. This is a small city that is very close to the Brazilian border on the southeast of the country. And some people own, this is more of for nature enthusiasts, they own a property on Santa Elena de Guairén in order to drive to what we call here La Gran Sabana. La Gran Sabana is a place with beautiful and very particular landscapes. Here in Venezuela has probably one of the most particular landscapes in the entire world. Now let's talk about business. When you're doing real estate investing, you have to think about one thing is what you want from the market regarding utility. Another thing is what the the market is looking for. Of course, if you know something about real estate, you know the main demand regarding residential real estate goes for main properties, because not everyone is rich and financially successful. They want their home in order to maybe start a home, or the family is growing and want to live close to their work or their business and so on. So that's the main demand. So if you purchase a property for the sole purpose of being a pied-a-terre, most likely it's not going to match the main demand of this particular market, regional market here in Venezuela. So for instance, if your pied-a-terre is a beachfront property, most likely it's not going to be the main demand, because it's not like the main residential demand regarding real estate is not going to go to beachfront properties, are going to go to a location within the city. Let's say it's not going to be on the mountain. It's not going to be a place of that particular regard. So you have to make a balancing act if you want the best of both worlds. A nice pied-a-terre that fills all of your needs regarding a second location, and also the market. How is the utility for that particular property on the market overall? So you have to be careful regarding that. My particular advice regarding this particular issue is that buy something that has a lot of potential for the future. However, you're going to be comfortable of owning it for a long term, either for your own usage, your own enjoyment, or maybe you can short lease it or something like that, so you get the best of all worlds. So you have to be very careful regarding owning a property that's going to be pied-a-terre, a particular practical pied-a-terre, that also you can cash flow in case you decide to do so, and then sell it, speculating for a profit on the long future.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.